everybody, and welcome to another episode of Father's Note, where we promote fatherhood through building men. As always, we're so happy that you took the time out of your busy schedule to spend this evening with us. Of course, tonight we're going to be doing a recap on our this last broadcast where we talked about want a woman, be a man. Now, as I stated, that it was definitely a generic topic because in actuality, as I have pointed out, that most men want a relationship, but if he wants a relationship, what he's looking for, if he wants to have any involvement with a woman, what he's basically is looking for at times is that companionship, relationship, of course, and maybe possibly a wife. Now, we can pretty much say that this may not apply to all men, um, but to most men, right? I would say yes, because we were created to have companionship, uh, especially as we had really went in depth into Genesis 1, and we're going to touch on chapter 2 hopefully tonight in this episode. But in the end, that was my entire reason for wanting to do this broadcast because of what I have experienced happening to several men that I know personally, and then if even include myself. Especially how it's so easy for us to get lost in the lustful desire um, of needing a woman in our lives, and there's no doubt we got men that's like that. They feel they have to have a woman in order to function as a man. And then what happens is that it becomes so bad to the point that they pretty much cannot function, naturally so without having a woman. And we want to address that. We want to just share some things with you and give you the reason why that if that is you, I don't know who you are, but if that is you, we want to give you uh, an outlet. We want to tell you why, and what you need to do and what you should do, what we would recommend that you should do in order to change that. Because all it really takes is just redirecting your focus, you know, redirecting the focus. So at times, I know for me, and I shared this in my book, my need that for me to um, really needed to learn how to live as a man without a woman because I mean, I tell you, my life was a roller coaster. And I knew that I was a good man. I knew that my heart was in the right place. I knew that I really cared, but my focus was wrong. And you first basically at the beginning, you need to, you should um, get yourself right first. Take care of the things that you need to take care of for you, first of all. And we hope that in tonight's episode that we're able to kind of like lay those things out for you, because, but first of all, as we pointed out last week, that there were three, if you look at Genesis 1, there are three commandments or directives, how you may want to look at it from God that was given to us, that if we apply those things, then we will learn how to live as a man without a woman. I know I keep saying that, but this is so important. So you may be asking, okay, well, what are those three directives? What are those three commandments that the Lord has if we're still on, please let us know in the comments. Seems like something happened here. Just not sure what's going on. But nevertheless, just let us know in the comments if you still are getting this. It seems that we are still on. We're broadcasting. So just want to make sure that everything is fine. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So we seem to be good. Okay. So again, like in the last broadcast, I do apologize for that interruption there. But in the last broadcast, I had pointed out that there are three things that you needed to do that a man should be focusing on if he wants to know or learn how to live as a man without a woman. So the first thing that you need to do is that you must know your identity. Okay. Now, as I stated, some men, um, you may say, "Well, I don't have a father. I don't know what my identity. I don't have anyone that I can identify with." Well, first and foremost, I would tell you then go to God. But when we look at Genesis 1:27 and 28, it says, "And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his image. And in his image, in the image of God, he created male and female, created he them. Right. So your identity first and foremost is in God. No matter what. If you are not sure who you are, look to God. Okay, because first of all, I can tell you right now, one of the viable lessons that I learned as a man, you can't do it without God. You cannot do. I don't care what man out there, how successful he may be, and sure we see that. We see men that are successful and they don't serve God at all. No, but when you really look at it, at the end of the day, that success is only temporal. It is not. It is not eternal, because that success that they have here is only for the time that they have here on earth. But there will come a time when, we as men, we're going to transition from here. And all of the things that we inherit and all the things that we have accomplished, if it was not, or if it had not been used to benefit others, okay, then it was all in vain. Right. So it's important that we know that. But you got to know your identity. You must know that you were made in the image of God. You were created for God. You were created for giving him glory. And please hear me, men. Please hear me, men. No matter what your struggle is, first and foremost, seek God. Make sure that God is the head of your life. And even if you have God as the head of your life, it may seem real, but yeah, but I'm trusting God. I'm believing in Him, and I want Him to have dominion over my life, and all of that is good. And as long as you're faithful with that, He knows that. He knows that, because just as much. But let me, this is what I feel led to say. But this is what God is looking for as we bear His image, as we bear His identity. He's looking for us to love Him just as much as He loves us. That's what He wants from us. He wants us. See, yes, we can love a woman real hard. We can love a woman real hard, that even to the point where is that even once she starts doing things that is contrary or that would challenge our manhood, we go crazy. Well, this is why I'm saying, first and foremost, you know what? Love God just as hard. Learn how to love God hard like that first. And I guarantee it will be a whole lot much better for you at the end. Okay, but as we pointed out, got to know your identity. You got to know, hey, listen, first and foremost, when you look at yourself in the mirror, You can tell yourself, you know what? I was created in the image and the likeness of God. So therefore, I belong to him. I am his son, and I want to accept him as my father. So yes, you can. Can you be successful without him? Yes, but it's only temporal, and that is the trick that the enemy wants you to have and wants you to think. He wants to think that you can make it without God. That's a falsehood. That's a false pretense. And I can tell you right now that at the end of the day, when you really look for peace, you're not going to find peace. You can only find peace in God. Thank you for that, Mr. Landolfi. Appreciate that. Appreciate the love, man. Appreciate the love offering. Okay, so you got to know your identity. And then when you look at the verse 28, you got to know that we talked about the kingship. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of things because I want to really go a little bit deeper into this topic about want a woman be a man. Okay. But you got to know your identity. Okay. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that you got to know your purpose. Again, so we look at Genesis 1:28. And it says, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish, over the sea, so forth and so on. Okay. So again, what's my purpose? My purpose, first and foremost, is to be fruitful. And to be fruitful means to live a life that produces good works and that reflects the character of Christ. That's what we're talking about, being fruitful, right? So you got to be fruitful. So when we look at John 15:5, it teaches us that in order for us to be fruitful, we must remain connected to Jesus. We must remain connected to God, who is the source of our strength and sustenance, right? So we have to be fruitful. That's the first thing. Okay, when you're talking about knowing your purpose is to be fruitful. Second, your purpose is to multiply, right? Um, Again, Matthew 25:14, for it would be like a man going on a journey, right? We have the ability to multiply. It'd be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted them uh, his property. To one, he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, and to each according to his ability. So we have the ability to multiply. So what are we talking about multiplying? Taking that what you have, taking that God-given talent that God has given you, and learn how to use it to multiply so that you can be fruitful for yourself, so that you can, we could call it investment, you know? So that's the first thing we need to do. We need to be able to multiply, right? That's the third thing. I'm sorry. Second thing. The third thing is that we have to replenish the earth, right? Um, to populate and to farm it, right? So when we look at the Hebrew word for replenish, it's translated meaning to the Hebrew word, it means to fill. If we look at the King James Version, that's what it means, okay, to be fruitful and to multiply. But we got to fill the earth. That's so important, right? I'm just kind of want to rush through this. I do apologize because I want to really get to something that's going to be very helpful to, I think, that beneficial not only to men, but also I want to talk about the women as well, all right? And the fourth thing is that we have to subdue it, right? We got to subdue the earth, meaning to conquer and to bring into subjection. To conquer by force or the exertion of a superior power. So basically, what we're talking about subdue, that you must know how to walk in your authority. Okay, you got to know how to walk in your authority. And the fifth thing is that, as far I'm Lionel, no, we've got to have dominion. You know, so what it means by having dominion. Dominion means that we have the power and right of governing and controlling. We're talking about having a sovereign authority. Okay, so you got to understand that God expects us to be responsible stewards over the glory of his creation. Everything that God created, he has given us dominion over it, and we're supposed to be good stewards over it. Okay, And that's so important. So again, just to repeat, we got to be fruitful as far as our purpose. We got to be fruitful. We have to multiply that fruit. We have to replenish. We have to subdue. We have to take dominion. All of those things are wrapped up in our purpose. So you may think that your purpose, you may not know, have a full understanding of your purpose. Then I would encourage you as a man, start there. Open up your Bible and read it and ask God, God, show me how I can fulfill all of these attributes here that you have here. These are your commandments. So what is it that I must do in order to be fruitful? Then in being fruitful, how can I multiply? How can I replenish it? How can I subdue? How can I walk in my dominion? This is so important, right? Now, there was another thing that there are two more things I want to add here. So we talked about knowing your identity. We talked about knowing your purpose. And I hope I'm helping you, somebody here. I hope I'm helping you here. Because these are things that I really had to learn for myself. And I had to take out the notion of, let me say it this way. We hungry as men for a relationship with women, when first and foremost, we should learn how to have a relationship with God. That's important. And I'm not apologizing if some of you feel that what I'm saying is not pushing so hard about um, our relationship with God, but it's the truth. It is the truth. And when I look at the state of men today, our biggest issue is that we have walked away from God. We don't reverence God no more. We don't fear God like we should. We think that everything else that we do from day to day is more important than we seeking God. One thing I know for a fact, that God is true to his word. And he promised that if we put him first, if we seek him, that he would never. I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, but this is so true to me. This is so important to me. And I know me for myself, I may be kind of getting a little bit way here, but I just want to go the way that I'm feeling led, because I hope this helps somebody. I'm praying it helps someone. Man, I made those mistakes, gentlemen. I made those mistakes. And the funny thing is that I made those mistakes even as a Christian. I fell flat on my face so many times, professing that I know God. But why was that happening? That's because I love God over here, but also love a woman over here. And I love the things that I thought was more important and more valuable over here. Then I realized, no, wait a minute, hold on. And I understand now more so why God said he's a jealous God. I understand it now. He is. He created us for his glory. He created us to worship him, to give him praise. Man. Yes, we're going to reap the benefit. Yes, he wants us to have prosperous and successful lives. There's no question about it. No question about it. That's what he wants for us. And we should. So that's why he said, do all those things. Yes, be prosperous. Be fruitful, multiply. Hey, listen, whatever you need to do, he wants you to have a prosperous life. But when you put everything else before God, yeah, you know what? Let me get in this relationship with this lady. Man, she seems like she has all the goods. You know what? But yet the question is, where we go wrong at? Where we go wrong at? Where I went wrong at? Since you may not want to admit it, but where I went wrong at is that I never consulted God. And that was the biggest mistake. Now, I know I'm not talking to only myself. I'm talking to many men. And I don't want to seem or come across as if that, I'm fussing or anything like that. But it's just my passion. I'm passionate about it. Because I am tired of seeing our men fail. I'm tired of seeing our young men, whether or not they 15, 16, 18, 20 years old, don't have direction, don't have a vision about themselves. And they lost. And why they're lost, the reason that they're lost when I have conversations with most of them is because their father is lost. They don't have a man or their father has gone astray. And there's a possibility that their father's father has gone astray. As I'm only here just to help you, and you, whoever you are, whatever your name is, to right this ship because it needs to be right. We do not need to allow a lot of our men to fall, especially our young men and older men, to fall victim to the system. You can avoid the system, but put God first. Put God first. Okay? All right. Next thing we got to do, you got to have a vision, brothers. You got to have vision. When I was thinking about this, we talk about vision. Because all this tie in with you wanting a woman. You want a woman. Let me just bring it home. You want a wife, first of all. You want a wife, but you're not being fruitful. You're not multiplying. I just got to give it like it's coming to me. You're not replenishing. You're not subduing. You're not taking dominion. Heck, you don't even want to get up out of the bed unless somebody tell you to get up out the bed. You know what? Let me take a sidebar here. I was in a conversation with a young man about a week or so ago, and they came to me asking me, saying that they wanted to get into construction because that's my background, construction. So I asked him, he's done with high school. He finished high school. Congrats to him. He's a fine young man, great young man, very mannerable, everything. But then I asked him, what's your skills? What kind of skills you have? Unfortunate for him, he said he had none. You're 18 years old and you don't have a skill. It's not his fault. Who his fault is that the system failed him. And I don't know his father, but I've had conversations with him about it, but his father failed him. It was important to me, having 3 sons of my own, that I told him, I said, every one of you guys got to learn a trade. You got to learn some skill. And then you need to learn, then I encourage them to learn how to take that skill and learn how to be fruitful with it, learn how to multiply with it, learn how to replenish it, turn it over. My oldest son, I never forget, also being a musician. I know I'm dating myself, but I had came across a 4-track cassette recorder, and I gave it to him. I taught him how to play the bass guitar. But that 4-track, we was in conversation a while back, and he said, Pops, because right now what he does is that he provides background sound for various artists. Right now uh, he works with Pembroke Pines. Nice. So he does all of their major events. And he said to me, he said, Pops, all of this started with that 4-track recorder that you gave me. So it's our responsibility as fathers that it's our responsibility to make sure that our sons have what they need so that they can prosper, so that they don't lack the tools that they need in order to function once they leave your house. I look at my second oldest son. He loves doing handyman work because that's what I used to do. And I made sure that I sold it to him, all the knowledge that I could give him. Even now today, I still help him. As a matter of fact, I went to help him with a little project yesterday. And I'm just standing there looking at him. I'm like, man, I remember when that used to be me. You got to give your sons. That's your responsibility. Now you're multiplying what you have in your children. You may not have sons, maybe you have daughters. They do the same likewise for them. But don't leave them hanging. Then when they get out in life, then they don't have the resources that they need for work, the skills. No, that's our responsibility. Fathers, we got a comment here. Evening, Minister Lionel, manhood, acquired traits that are basic and in alignment with his SOP. Show yourself approved to go through the process. Yes, yes. My wife wrote, you're exactly right. I never consulted God. All of my past relationships I made happen myself because I wanted to be loved and in a relationship. And when we do it without God, we make bad choices and wrong choices. Now, you know what? That may not be your testimony. Your testimony may be absolutely right. Perfect. Boom. Yep. It may be absolute, you may be had no issues. And you know what? Kudos. Good for you. But I hope I'm saying something here to help you ladies. The man has to have a future for himself before he can have any future with you. He has to. Because if not, then you're going to be the man and the woman. You're going to be the husband and the wife trying to carry that relationship because he don't have a clue of what he's doing or what he is supposed to do. Nope. Don't do it. And if he cannot give you a vision, for you and him, tell him, adios, buddy. Don't be gullible for love. Don't be gullible just to say, I got a man. Don't be gullible just to say, I got a woman. Because that's all you're going to have. A man and a woman. That's it. But you got to have vision. Got to have a future. Because I'm always asking the question. When I see young men, hey, what's your 3-year plan? What's your 5-year plan? Most of them can't even answer the question. And then surprisingly, I do come across some young men, they do have a plan. As a matter of fact, they're already establishing their business. Okay, good. Absolutely. Hoorah. That's what it's all about. I'm gonna show you all something here. Oh, my wife put a post. Put that post up. That comment. I said that, preacher, I agree with you with a lot of things you're saying, but a lot of men don't know who they are. They put on a facade and you think is on the up and up, and the whole time he's a pipe dream. He's fake and phony. What do we do with that? A lot of men are malfunctioning, and some women too. That's true. That is so true. And the issue is that it's because we have, if you know, it's like this. If you start out on a journey and you don't spend 50 miles heading south when you should have been going north, then it's going to take them 50 miles to bring it all back before you get on the right track. And this is, again, I'm just asking everyone, please hear my heart. No, I didn't always walk right. And y'all done heard my testimony. Y'all done heard my story. I didn't always do it right. But I'm grateful to God that once I got it together, once I realized this, because this is what happened to me. I had an experience. I don't want to get in the weeds of what happened, but let me say this. I had an experience that really put me to the point where it's that, you know what? I had to turn to God. And this was it, because I had to be broken. I had to be broken. And this was it, because I had to be broken to the point where it's that I no longer wanted relationship. I didn't want a woman. I was content with being by myself, with my children, and with God. And that's just so I took that element of having a woman in my life out. God just allowed it to be out of my life. I was good. I was good. I was fine. I was okay. I was content with that. God, I hope I'm talking to somebody. Because this may be you. Maybe the reason you yourself, brother, find yourself up and down in the valley on a roller coaster, man, and you know where every dip and valley is going to come. Every high is going to come because you don't build on this for so long. But I'm telling you what you can do to get off of it. You got to focus all your attention back to God. Even as a woman, if you constantly find yourself in and out of relationship, hey, put that man to the side, forget about it, work on you. Because you might be a woman that says that, you know what, I want to get married one day. But I made this comment last week, are you married material? Being a woman, any woman can be a woman. But it takes a special woman to be a wife. Every woman can't be a wife. Let me say it that way. Just like every man can't be a husband. And just because you can have sex don't make you a woman, and it don't make you a man. No, let me back that up. It don't make you a wife, and nor does it make you a husband. That's the right way to say that. Because you're gonna be a man, you're gonna be a woman, no matter what. You know, you can't get around that. You know. If I'm doing all right here, just let me know in the comments, okay? You're right, Mr. Gary. You know, we need to learn how to stay out of debt. We need to know how to understand economics. Because I don't think no woman really want a broke man. Not only financially, but you're broke in mind. You're broken in having a vision. You're broke in your destiny going forward. No. You gotta have a vision. You gotta be able to, even if you want to be in a relationship, what can you bring to that relationship for your wife? I'm talking about wife now. We need to get beyond this girlfriend thing, boyfriend thing. And we really need to focus on doing it the right thing so that we can be right with God. This may not, let me share this with you all. You know, my wife, she does cupcakes. And I'm going to talk about, I hope this share what I'm saying to you. You got to have a vision for your life, got to have a vision for your family, got to have a vision for overall where you're going, where your destiny, what does you want to do? And so my wife has a cupcake business and she does themes at times. Some in events she does themes. And so she wanted to do an Eiffel Tower, a Paris theme, and she was looking for Eiffel Towers. And we had looked online, different ones, and the ones that I saw, I was like, man, they want too much money for these things. And then they're not even really worth anything. Not the money, they're not worth the money that he was asking us to spend. So one night, I was like, you know what? Maybe I can build this. Maybe I can build this Eiffel Tower for my wife. I didn't know how to do it, didn't have a clue how to go about it. But I'm talking about having vision. Because I wanted to be an asset to my wife. This is a situation. He's showing up already. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Producer. But God gave me the vision for what you see right there, that Eiffel Tower. One night I was laying in the bed and I don't know, it came to me in a dream or something. And when I saw it, I jumped up, went outside in the back, drew it all out, and went back to bed. Came back in the house and went to bed, and I built it the next day. And that's what you see. That came through me, from my vision that God gave me. Talking about having, that's what the Lord allowed me, God gave me to build. Now, I can take that and I can multiply that and utilize that as a form of income, making money. That itself is a way of bringing income into the home. You got to have vision. We're talking about multiplying. We're talking about being fruitful. Look deep down within who you are, brothers. Don't make excuses. You may feel, well, what I'm doing is not enough. Yes, it is. It may not be enough in the beginning, but start with what you have. That's important, right? Another vision that I had, I'm talking about ways in which that you can utilize whatever those little things that God gives you in order to provide for yourself. Remember, I read the scripture that he gave to some 5, some 2, and 1. And the one that had the one, he took it and buried it. Don't be the one, the servant that bury your gift. It's there, but it's up to you to search it out, to pull it out. No matter how small, minute it is, it's up to you. I have a son-in-law that he's an artist. Who would think that that is a way to make money as far as drawing art? Some of you may know of him. But I'm sure y'all may have heard of Artist Dope. But that's how his means of production. And that's what God placed in him, art. But you can't be afraid to utilize it. Can't be. I would never thought that I, myself, in the beginning, at one time in my life, be an author. But I've been blessed to write a book entitled Learning the Man Within. Check out this video.
I'm Lionel Nelson, and I'm thrilled to share with you the story behind my book, Learning the Man Within. I wrote Learning the Man Within as a tribute to my journey as a man, resulted by my unwise decisions against my father's wisdom. Yes, I made growing up difficult because of my do-it-my-way attitude. However, I never forget the final moments of my father's life that I spent with him. During those moments, it became clear to me that all my father ever wanted for me as his son was to be a better man than him. And becoming that better man required me to learn who I was as a man through him. Music and writing has always been my refuge, my way of expressing myself and my emotions and connecting with the world around me. So writing this book allowed me to express myself as a man, and more importantly, as a son. Through challenges and setbacks, I learned the importance of the role of a father, how my father's teaching to be consistent and perseverance, coupled with the power of faith, were essential to me and every soul like me in learning the man within. It's more than just a book of stories. It is a testament to the strength of the human spirit, coupled with the enduring power of love from a Father. I invite you to join me on this journey of self-discovery and inspiration. Get your copy of Learning the Man Within today. Thank you.
Yeah. If you want a copy, go to afathersnote.com. Go to afathersnote.com and you can get your copy there. But this book, I'm grateful. I'm so happy I was able to share my stories, to be able to share content that I personally believe that would be very helpful and influential to many, many, many of you. If that is your desire. Okay, so get a book, get a book. But again, we're talking about having a vision. All right, so these are just some tools in which that I just want to share with you that God had gave me that I, had to deep down. I didn't know when I was growing up. Okay, I didn't know. All right, one thing that I did have, of course, as I stated, I came out of high school as a carpenter, and that's what I was doing. That's pretty much my means of living. But God has blessed me to be able to utilize other gifts in order to provide for myself. Okay, so I had the tools, but I had to utilize them in the right way, and I also had to use them to make sure that they glorify God in everything I did. One other thing that my father did give to me is the same thing that I was able to pass on to my children, especially my sons, is the gift of music. So I'm grateful to Pops for that. Right? Okay, so let's go on. So we talked about you got to know your identity. You got to know your purpose, okay? You got to have a vision. And fourth, but definitely not the least, you want to be obedient to the commandments of God. You have to be obedient to the commandments of God. That is so vitally important, all right? Okay, so whatever God tells you, whatever he instructs you to do, we want you to do it. Now, the thing is this, because I got to wrap this up. I want to wrap this up because what I want to share with you, I'm sure is something that's going to be very important, not only for you, okay, but for women as well, right? So, ladies, I want you to listen to this very carefully because this is important here. And when we look at Genesis 2, right? Because I think what happened is that, brothers, I think our perception of what we believe having a woman is, the purpose of having a woman, is a bit construed. It's off. It's not absolutely right. And because of that, we may have a tendency to abuse our women in our lives, right? And and I want to share this information with you. Still utilizing the word of God, but I want to share with you so not only you as a man will understand the role of the woman in your life, your wife, but also women, you would understand your role and how the part that you play to the significance of your husband, right? So when we look at Genesis 2, verse 18, it says, and the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. And in verse 21, it says that so the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and while he slept, took one of his ribs and close him up, and closed up his place with flesh. All right. All right. Verse 22. And the rib that the Lord God had taken from the man, he had made into a woman and brought her to the man. So when you look at it, Adam was already functioning in his role as a man of God. He was already operating in it. No question. He was there. He understood it. So before God brought him the woman, he first had to be in place. So you, brothers, let's get in place first. Once you're in place, then he would bring you Mrs. Right, as the ladies like to say, Mr. Right. Then he will bring you Mrs. Right. right? So when we look at verse 18, we see that the reason for God creating the woman, as he said, and the Lord said, it's not good for man that man should be alone, but I will make him a helpmeet. So it's three words that we want to address here. Three words we want to talk about: rib and help meet. So when we look at, let's start with the words help meet. So when you look at help meet, the common way in which that the term help meet is interpreted, it is to mean that Eve, unlike any of the other beasts of the earth, was appropriate for, or shall we say, worthy of Adam, and was to be his helper or companion on the earth. So no doubt she is your companion, she is your helper. But ladies, don't freak out now, because if you're functioning and operating in that role as a wife, you're more powerful than you think. So when we look at the Hebrew words, in the word help me, there are two words. There are two words, Hebrew words, that derive. Help me is two words that derive from the words Ezer and the word connegdo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. All right. So when we look at the word Ezer, which is commonly translated as help, is really a rich word in which its original Hebrew meaning. It means something much more profound and powerful than just being a mere helper. You're more than that. You are more than that. When you look at the word Ezer, it is a combination of two root words, one meaning to rescue, to save, and the other meaning to be strong and or to give strength. For example, when you look at the word Ebenezer, I'm just a little class work here, so just bear with us because I want to go somewhere here. When you look at the word Ebenezer, right, in 1 Samuel 7:12, it is used to be described the power of God's deliverance. Eben means to be a rock, and Ezer means to help or provide salvation. So Ebenezer therefore means a rock of help or a rock of salvation. So when you look at the root word of Ezer, it is the same word that God used to describe to Adam who Eve was. That Eve was a rock for him. Eve was not just a rock, but a rock of help and a rock of salvation. So she was not there intended to be just his mere helper or companion, but rather she was there as his intent to be his savior and his deliverer. Oh, now I just done messed some brothers up. I'm running out of time. I don't have time to go here, but let me explain this to you. If I'm doing all right, let me know in the comments. If I'm doing all right. So when you look at it, yeah, I know, listen, I know we get our salvation from God, it's no question. But here on earth, and let me talk to myself. Let me talk about me. So once I made up my mind that I'm going to be about God, once I made up my mind that I'm only going to focus on God and what he desires for me. Now, mind you now, I was working, may not be, my life is a little ragged, but I believed in work. I had vision. I love my children. And, at the time I was working my own business, I had something and I had vision. But when I got my life right with God, lined it up with God and sought him, the woman that I need, God brought her to me. He presented her to me. As a matter of fact, I was so gung-ho that I didn't want her in the relationship. I was like, man, I was running from her. I was running. But in short, I'm here to tell you that woman became my rock, man. That woman helped me. My wife helped me accomplish the things that I have right now today. She rescued me. She saved me. And she gave me strength when I needed strength. And she helped to deliver me and bring me up out of the situation that I was in at the time. I know they might be a little bit too heavy for some of y'all, but I can't do nothing but speak the truth. That's what she did. You know what? I'm going to stop right there. I got a lot more I can give you, but I'm going to stop right there. I'm just led to stop right there. I know I said a lot. And I hope that what I've said, that you all hear my passion. I know of how I deliver my message, but it is who I am. Everybody ain't for everybody, and that's perfect. Go fine. But man, if I could change the life, if I could help change the life, alter the life of one man going the wrong direction, help him get on the right path, and everything that I do here was worth it. And I won't regret nothing. But I have a passion to speak to the men. And just as I was able to rise up and get off that roller coaster that I was on, stop going around that same mountain that I was going around, you can do the same thing too. And I want you to know that. But you got to make the right choice. I'm here to tell you that every choice that you make, you need to make it with God. You need to make it with God. I've interviewed many, many men on this show. I've been blessed to have great men. And I can tell you right now, every struggle that you yourself might be encountering right now, you're not by yourself. There are other men that are going through the same thing that you're going through. But we're here to let you know you don't have to give up. Don't be down on yourself. Don't beat yourself up because of it. But rise up, brothers. And first of all, seek God. You may say, well, I don't know what that is. Just talk to him. Just talk to him. Talk to you. Because you're a reflection of him. There's hope, man. Be the man that God wants you to be. And he will give you the woman that you need. He will put her in your life, help you, and to help you rise above where you're at. I know some brothers, man. They got some good women. It may not have always been like that. I wish that I could say that I've been with the same woman for the past 30, 40 years of my life, but that ain't my testimony. And that may not be some of your testimony. But don't give up on yourself. I want you to be encouraged, please. Stay encouraged. Because we got to make a change. We got to do better. As one of the comments, we got a lot of men. You're not there. I'm here to tell you that you can be there. You just got to right the ship. God intended greater for us. We have to put him first. I just cannot say that and stress that enough. So, I want to appreciate all of you, those of you who are watching, or who are watching right now, whether or not on Facebook or YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Please share, like, and if you haven't subscribed, you like what we do here, subscribe, help us out, please. And leave a comment. Leave a comment that will help definitely to push our content here on this show. And again, we do it because we love what we do. I don't want to see, I know what failure is like. I know what pain and heartbreak, I know what that feels like. I know what it's like that every time you feel like you're up, you get knocked down. I know what that's like. But I'm here to tell you the one choice that I would encourage you to make, and that is to choose God. You know, normally I don't go this deep scripture, or quoting scriptures on this show, but it is what it is. And that's just the way that I'm feeling led I need to do right now, and that's what I'm going to do. I want to be obedient to God because I want His grace to continue to stay in my life. You know? So hey, we appreciate all of you. If you don't mind, please share this video. Share this with other brothers. You know, let them know that we're here. We're here and what we're doing here. We certainly would appreciate it. So we hope that we'll be back next week. I think maybe I might go a little deeper about this, about the role of a woman in the life of a man. Maybe we might talk about that being wife material. And I don't say that to be offensive. I really don't. Okay? I really don't say that to be offensive. But I just want us to do better because I don't know, you know, I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done. I saw the clip about, oh my God, I'm looking at his name, looking at him in his face. Tariq, not Tariq, let me see. He played, some of you may be able to put his name in the comments for me. He played with the Bad Boy movie and Fast and the Furious. Oh my God, I can't think of his name. Tyrese. Thank you, sir. And listen to what his story and what's going on, what he's going through. That's painful. That is painful. You know, so I lift him up in prayer as well. I pray he himself would really. It's a difficult thing, but this is what I would encourage him. Because somebody asked me, what would I tell him? And this is what I would tell him. He got to walk away from it. And he got to give that to God. Man, I would just go before God and get to God and just make God, just line myself with God. Yeah, it's painful that, you know, I done built this house and my ex-wife has the house, the children. I can only see my child once a month. That's in itself. That's pure evil. That's pure evil for a woman to want to keep their child away from their father. And I believe part of that is because it might be something that they went through themselves. They might feel that that's the norm. That's pure evil. But you know what though? But again, man, just see God. You got to put God first. And I cannot say that and stress that enough. And this is what I would tell him if I had that platform, if I had the opportunity to look him in the eye and shake his hand. Tell him, Tariq, I know how you feel. Let it go. Grab hold of God. Get in his word. He will show you how to navigate through this situation where you can still come out on top as a man without a woman. We're going to get out of here. Hey, love you all. And we hope that we said something to encourage all of you. Without any further ado, we out.